Welcome to Amazing World Channel.
GettyTheresa May has been told that Brexit talks can resume in time for Christmas. The go-ahead from the European leaders signals a new start to the floundering talks. And the news comes after the European leaders cast doubt on whether talks would even be able to resume following very little progress. A source told the Mail that the Prime Minister is hopeful that she can press ahead with her vision for Brexit. The insider said the mood on Brexit is much more positive than the public pronouncements you hear, particularly from the European Commission. There is a growing sense of people feeling a bit more momentum and wanting to get on to looking at the future partnership. The EU bosses are said to want to work with Mrs May after her speech in Florence was well received. But the UK had hoped that trade talks would kick off by the end of this week. Britain's junior Brexit minister said on Monday that he too was hopeful that EU negotiators would agree to move on to discuss future relationships soon, even after the head of the European Commission said it would take miracles for that to happen. Steve Baker told an event at the Conservative Party's annual conference, "I am very hopeful that everyone will see the mutual advantage of moving on to a discussion of the future relationship in October." Jetty Jean-Claude Juncker said last week that the first stage of talks had stalled. Britain has been seeking to push the talks beyond the terms of the divorce and onto future ties, including trade, at a European meeting later in October. But Jean-Claude Juncker appeared to dash those hopes when he said last week that the first stage of talks had not made enough progress. In a bid to ensure that Britain can progress, Britain expects to have draft free trade agreements on the table long before it reaches the end of a Brexit transitional period, which is expected to run for around 2 years after 2019, Trade Minister Liam Fox said on Sunday. At the Conservative Party's annual conference in Manchester, Northern England, Mr Fox said he was confident that Britain would be able to strike trade deals quickly with Britain's allies such as the United States, Australia and New Zealand. He criticised the media for talking Britain down in the complicated negotiations with the European Union to unravel more than 40 years of union. Instead, he said, Britain would become a much more agile trading country after Brexit. Britain has been seeking to push the talks beyond the terms of the divorce and onto future ties. Asked whether there would be draft treaties on the table before the expected 2-year transitional period runs out in March 2021, Fox said we'll expect to have draft agreements long before that with a number of countries. We want the EU transitional ones done by 2019, and then at that point we want to see the United States, Australia, and New Zealand, which are the priority ones.